Hey, it's Chris Luquette from Seattle, Washington. We're hanging out today at Eastman in Pomona, California. Got the really great T64V here in my hands. Yeah, I grew up in Renton, Washington, which is a suburb of Seattle. Actually, grew up about a mile from where Jimi Hendrix is buried, so there were musical vibes all around, whether I knew it or not. Growing up, my dad always had, and my mom always had a radio on, and I was hearing all sorts of great things. I just remember one day, probably about 10 years old, just listening to music in the house, and I went, wait a second, something cool is happening here. And I remember asking my dad, what am I hearing here? He told me the couple of bands that we heard, and just kind of changed my life, and never looked back. Just knew I wanted to play guitar, knew I wanted to be around music, and just let things happen as they happened. So I grew up homeschooled, which means I had a fair amount of time to really dive into guitar and into music. Every day it felt like I was finding a new player or a new band or a new style of music that I wanted to delve deeper into. I first became aware of Eastman probably when I joined Dirty Kitchen, when we started playing more music festivals coast to coast and was starting to see these instruments in musicians' hands. Their quality and the craftsmanship, the sound, it's really speaking to a lot of musicians, and that says a lot about the company and about the musicians. First moments here with the T64V, it immediately brought to mind music of a certain generation, maybe early 60s. A lot of great crunchy rock and roll vibes came straight to my head. But just notice the really excellent craftsmanship and the great setup and the way this guitar plays and sounds. I noticed first about the finish and the details. It's got the antique feel to it of a road-worn guitar, but it doesn't feel put on at all. This is a really honest guitar. It is what it is, and when you're a musician, that counts for a lot. Whether it's the sound or the feel or the finish, it's all important. And I really admired the finish on this when I first picked it up and saw it. Yeah, on the road right now with Solivan and Dirty Kitchen, kind of a modern bluegrass outfit that I've been with 6.5, almost 7 years now. We kind of ride the line between traditional bluegrass, jamgrass, newgrass. All the members in the band have such wild, varied musical taste. That really influences how we sound from one season to the next. We are in the midst right now of recording a record. Today I'm on the West Coast. Yesterday I was on the East Coast doing recording sessions for that. In between Dirty Kitchen days of recording and traveling, I've been doing a solo record, so exploring those options and those sounds. It's a very busy time and a really great time, and I'm enjoying it.